Hi, I'm Skyvo Fuller. I just turned 10 last week. My agent is WSM Talent. I'm non-union. My height is 4'1".
We're back here with Sarah. Sarah's Sky Vaux Fuller's mom, and we're here to talk a little bit more about auditioning, which seems like we're staying on this subject for a lot. However, there are some basics that I wanted to go over with her. I've had a couple of new talent that have joined us just this week and are kind of having some trouble getting started with just auditioning and understanding the basics of how they're supposed to do their auditions, do their slating, and so on. So I wanted to bring in Sarah and we could kind of go over that together and kind of crack that nut. So welcome, Sarah. All right. Hi, Sarah. Thanks for joining me.
How are you
Thanks.
this morning?
I'm good. And it's actually afternoon, but that's okay.
No, it's not. Isn't it? Oh,
It
it
is.
is. Sorry. I've been sick for a day, so I'm kind of out of it. I'm still kind of stuffy, so you have to bear with me.
No, and actually, and that's part of what I love about you is the fact that you are like the Energizer bunny that you just keep going and going and going, where most people would be like, I'm sick, but I just don't want to. I just want to lay here. So, and I think that's why
And
we
I
get
tell you, most actors, I'm not an actor, my daughter is obviously, but ADHD, it's a gift. And it's a curse and blessing. She has it, I have it, we all have it. So the ADHD helps me to kind of go along. It's a blessing and a curse. So,
would love to talk a little bit about and get really into the specifics of the audition, which I know we've talked a little bit about in the previous video. But as I was saying, I had a couple of talent who did have some problems who were brand new into this, and they just don't really understand, number one, how to slate, and number two, what is really expected from them when they're setting up their cameras, when they're doing their audition, everything from, a lot of it's got to do with acting in general, but the specifics of how the camera should be. I've had people who've cut off their heads and they've got it really close and their angle is off and everything. I mean, everything's wrong.
we've been there and done that. I can remember when Sky first started in the industry when she was really little. The manager that we had at the time was like, all right, you didn't do a slate. And I'm like, what's a slate? I think it's a piece of, what is that? Like a slate that you put, like it's a rock? Like I didn't know what it was. What is a slate? So, and it's interesting that you say this and you just kind of learn as you go. You know, that's one of the things I had to kind of Google what a slate was. As far as our slates personally, I would say 98 to 99% of our auditions that we get specifically tells you what to say in a slate. So we know exactly how to do it. Whether they're asking for your name, your age, your height. I mean, with kid actors, they always ask for when your birthday is, if you're under 18, most of them do. And you have to just literally just be factual. They don't want to hear that yesterday you went to the store and you like dogs. None of that. They just want to know exactly what you have to say exactly what they're asking for. So like when my daughter will do it, she'll say, you know, hi, my name is Sky Bill Fuller. You know, I live in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm 4'6" and I'm 11 years old. And then just smiles. That's it. There are some that, so as far as angles, it depends. A lot of them will tell you if they want like a full body shot, which are always to me the worst because this backdrop that I'm sitting in front of doesn't cover. But if they want a full body, that's what they're going to get. They're going to see the edge. They're going to see my dog crate over there, but they're not going to look at that. They're going to look at her. Sometimes I'll go back in and edit afterwards so you can't see the dog crate over there or the dog food bowl or like, you know, like you can kind of crop it in a little bit, but their goal is to see your body.
Right. So just to back up a little bit. So number one, when you get your audition, what you want to really do is to read the instructions completely because it's all in there. You need to kind of go in and highlight what it is that you need to do with your...
Do you know what I do? A lot of times, I will screenshot it on my, because a lot of times I look at my the instructions on my phone. And when I get the audition, always will screenshot the slate part of it and zoom in on it. So I have that picture in my phone. So when we are doing the audition, I mean, I'm using my phone, obviously taping the audition.
Exactly.
But I'll have that right up front so I can look at it. And I can write it on a piece of paper. Because I mean, honestly, slates have been my daughter's favorite thing. I think I told you that. There's been times I've had to write it on if it's a lot, if your kid is really little and they can't remember all the stuff they have to say, write it on a piece of paper, like I said in the last video, and put it right, so they know name, age, like a little card so they can see what they have to say. You know what I mean? And sometimes that even helps you. Like do you know what I do? This is weird because of Sky, I have hand signals. So when she's saying her slate, hi name, this is for my name. My name is Skybo Fuller. This is for height. This is for where I live. Sense. I'm behind the camera doing this, mind you.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense.
I need hand signals to remember. So when I say where I live, or I am 4'6", I don't know. Well, sometimes she'll tell me what she wants me to do. Birthday. Yep. Or what do we do the other? Represented. I'm represented by, like jazz hands. Like we make up what we're going to, so I'm looking at the sheet, so she can still be looking at the camera, and I'm doing all this behind the camera, kind of cueing her on what to say. She forgets. She hates slates.
That makes sense. Or I suppose you could just use cue cards that you would use all the time and be like, okay, represented.
But the problem with the cue card, I'll be honest with you, is they look and then they'll look back at the camera and they'll look and they'll get. A lot of times the slate is the only time that you are looking at the camera talking to the person that is. So if she sees my arms doing this behind the camera, she can still look at it. Do you know what I mean? Or
that's a good point.
Likes the hand signals. That's kind of what we always do. So
that's
if you
great.
and your want to make something funny, like this could be my age, and they'll think it's funny, and you're doing this, but they'll be able to see it as they're typing. So use
smile too, right?
Yeah. This whatever you want to do as a hand signal, and then it can be across the board. Whatever you're trying to tell your kid, every slate, that's your hand signal, and your kid will know it. This is always height for us. Always how tall you are. You know what I mean? So that's one of my little traits that I do. The other thing that I think is really important is one time her dad did a slate with her and I didn't. I wasn't around, and he filmed it like with her chin. It was a bad angle of her up underneath. How did he know? No, he didn't know. He just had it on the thing. But I have a tendency. I like to think about when people do selfies. What do we do when we do selfies? Do we do this when we do a selfie?
No,
or do we do that?
Right.
So think about that. Like not too high. You don't want your kid like looking up at the camera. A little bit above their height, so their chin isn't. You know what I mean? So you have it.
Yeah, no, I hear you. That makes total sense. So the other thing I also want to make sure that everybody understands too is when you are doing, once you get your audition and you read through it and you say, okay, I'm ready to do this. I want to do this audition, is that you go back into the casting sites and you actually accept it. Because I can't begin to tell you how many people don't accept the audition, and then everybody's wondering. And also, like for instance, your rep.
I'm the worst at that. I confirm right when I'm doing it. I always forget to confirm. I confirm right when I'm submitting the audition.
So I think what people need to understand when they don't is, so casting assumes, so let's say that they're calling in X amount of people and you haven't confirmed. They either assume that you're not showing up, and so they need to add in some extra people
on this.
Yeah, so there's a potential of you adding more people to that role because they assume that you're not showing.
Interesting. Okay, that's good to
know. So casting will have 2,000 submissions to a role, and then they go, okay, well, we want we only want to see 100 people. It's not like they're saying, oh, well, I want this person, this person, this person because of those people. They go in and they go, okay, well, these people are matching the criteria of who we want, and then if they don't accept, they either think that you're maybe not interested, not available, or are no longer in the business. How do they? Yeah, sometimes they'll turn to us and be like, can you please have your person accept or decline? And we're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, and that's why we're on you all the time. Can you please do this? Can you please do this? And because we don't want any more competition on that role either.
I did not know that at all. So that's good. I will always confirm.
So going back to the slate. So once again, everybody is shooting and they're taking their camera and they're definitely going to be shooting it. And here's mine like this.
Yeah, you have to do it this way. Then let's see this. Even you think a full body shot is not this. They want it like this.
Yeah. So you end up having to pull out for a full body shot, way out. And that's usually where it becomes a bit of an issue. And you have to be able to have some space in order to do that. Although a lot of people will do like a...
Always, Darlene, use this guy right here and just stack up with him. Because if I'm doing my hand, I get this a lot. The only time I do use my hand is when they say, these are my least favorites, by the way. They'll say, do a slate and then zoom out for your full body shot. So you're literally doing this and then you have to move. I can't move with this guy.
Yes.
What I have done in the past with those, I just started doing this and I hope it's okay. I'll do our slate. I'll use that. I'll use our slate and then I cut it and then I reposition it and I record again and I merge those two together. I cut and edit.
Yeah, which I think has been fine so far. Nobody's said anything any differently. So yeah, it is.
I think their goal is just to see the kid's body, like the size of your child.
Right. They want to see the overall.
The other thing I want to say with body shot is make sure you put your kid in an outfit that they can actually see what your child looks like. Like a lot of times for younger auditions, I'll have Sky audition with overalls. But if I do a full body slate and a slate, I make sure I take off the overalls and maybe I'll put on leggings and a shirt so they can see what size she is. Not saying like a half shirt. I'm not saying show the kid's body that way, but show something that's a little form fitting. Even a pair of jeans. They like jeans sometimes, like a tighter pair of jeans. Don't have anything really baggy on them because then they really can't see the size of your kid.
Yeah, that makes sense too. So, I totally agree. And that brings us back to also what they're wearing in general. And this is going ahead in a little bit with the audition, but what they wear in an audition in general.
So I haven't, the less is more, like solid, really solid colors. They don't like to see like flowers and like, I mean, I'm not, and I don't mean like it has to be like completely solid, but basically don't have like Nike on your son's shirt. Like they don't like that type, unless it's for something 40, then you could do that. Like a little Ralph Lauren symbol on the pocket, that's not what I'm talking about. That's fine. But like, pretty much don't have like, I don't know. And if you do pick like a plaid, like I know I'm just trying to think of something. My daughter has plaid overalls. Make sure you have a solid shirt underneath it. So it's like there's a contrast. They also don't like, I've gotten yelled at in the past about having like, one time I did it with a bow. It wasn't you who yelled at me. She had a bow, and a bow. They don't like that either. They don't like, if you're going to put your daughter's hair up, just have it elastic, and you can do a simple hairstyle up. I'm not saying you can't do an updo if you want to, but I usually just leave my daughter's hair down because then they can see what they're working with. If the actor that they're picking, like the last movie she just did, the little girl had 2 pigtails. We did not audition with 2 pigtails. Her hair was down, just like this, down, curly down, and then they could see what they were working with, what they wanted to do with it.
Yeah. We usually try to tell people no distractions. You want absolutely nothing for distractions because I will tell you, after seeing so many tapes, what ends up happening, no matter how much you want to be paying attention to that actor, what ends up happening is you go, oh, why did they end up wearing that? Or why did they put the bow in the hair? You try not to. You really try to just pay attention to how they're acting, but all of a sudden, or I had this one talent who was amazing, who was a great actor, loved him to death, thought he was the greatest guy in the world, but man, all of a sudden he did a self-tape and I was like, oh man, couldn't you have just picked up your room? Because he didn't have like a backdrop. It was just like, oh gosh, that is just not going to work. I can't send that tape in. And I don't think that they realize that, it's like, you need
across the board, less is more. Less is more. That should be your mantra when you're doing self tapes. Like your kid looks. My daughter does wear teeny tiny earrings. We don't take them out. I don't take them out for auditions, but I think they're subtle enough that they're not. But I wouldn't have my kid, if you have a teenager, wear big dangly earrings. Like I don't know. I just think less is more. Nothing distracting.
So nothing should be distracting. It should be as small as possible. But you just want everything to be focused on you and not your surroundings or something that you're wearing or something that is questioning. And it's very difficult because it's very subjective. But that's why backdrop is great, to have. And if you can't do the backdrop, your next option would be a blank wall or plain curtains, or I've even had people who have done, outside. It gets a little noisy, but outside up against a plain wall outside where they have some natural lighting and it's just a plain wall. So there are other options if you are just starting out or whatever, but it just needs to be as plain as possible. So yeah, until you get that backdrop.
When I started out, I didn't have this backdrop. I just used a plain wall. She was small enough, but since she's bigger, we don't really like I said, I think in my last video, the lighting has to be important. And the blank wall that I had, it's literally across from where I'm sitting right now. And the lighting is coming this way. This is natural lighting. And it just didn't work. The lighting,
right.
Yeah.
So,
but there has been times that I've had to do an audition at 9:00 at night where you have to, I think I told you the bathroom, the lighting there. So that works good if you're in a situation where you don't have the option to have natural lighting, but you have the option for natural lighting, use it.
All right. So once again, with the Slate, we want to make sure that everybody is, once again, shooting with their camera horizontally. When you go in there, you want to, horizontal. We want to make sure that you're giving your name or whatever the instructions are within the actual audition. You need to make sure you read those instructions and give whatever it is that they're looking for.
Hi, my name is Vaux Fuller. I am 10 years old. I am 51 inches tall. Hi, my name is Vaux Fuller. I am 11 years old. I am 4'6". Hi, my name is Vaux Fuller. I am 10 and a half years old. My birthday is June 2nd, 2013. I am 52 and a half inches tall. Currently, I am in Buffalo, New York, because I am on the Broadway National Tour of Les Miserables. Hi, my name is Skye Fuller. I'm 9 years old. I'm 4 feet tall, and I'm in 4th grade. And I want to tell you a little bit about myself. So I recently just got 2 ferrets. Their names are Lilo and Stitch. Lilo, she has a blackish color, and the patterns on her face are like the patterns on a raccoon, except the patterns are white. And then Stitch, he is part albino, and he has a little pink nose that's adorable, and a little fluffy white chest. And he's bigger than Lilo.